There's a great quote by Aristotle: no great mind has ever existed without a touch of madness. That's what the story of Madman of India is about, Mr. Swapnil Tiwari, one of the youngest specially abled social reformers in India. His life's work has been dedicated to spreading hope in troubled communities through education, social inventions, hope, and love across many underdeveloped and developing economies of the world. A dyslexia and synesthetic by birth, his work explores the synergy and congruence of human senses and the ability to explore alternative intelligence among people. He uses social business and innovation to address rampant social evils by the age of 25. He rehabilitated 24 endangered tribes in the violence stricken jungles of India, during which he was abducted thrice, all ending in the reformation of those communities. His extensive reformation work has spanned tribal women folk, sexual abuse victims, and victims of discrimination, transforming their lives through innovation entrepreneurship among more than 58 regions of the nation. Having been awarded the National Peace Award, featured in Forbes magazine, The Better India, and many more, his life journey has been put as a case study in UNESCO and also has been inspired for two documentaries and a biographical feature film. He also has been nominated as Padma Shri honor this year. Hello, everyone. This is Nupur. Welcome to another episode of Ignited Spirits Presents Leadership Series. This entire conversation was an eye opener with such a deep conversation with the madman of India, Mr. Swapnil Tiwari, his life experiences, and empowering story with different perspectives of looking into lives. This entire episode is a bit long, but to get a perspective of not looking into lives, it also would help you get inspired by heroes like him doing commendable work for the community. Bringing to you the story of Madman of India, Mr. Swapnil Tiwari. Let's begin. The Madman of India, Mr. Swapnil Tiwari. Welcome to our podcast, sir. Like, it's an absolute honor to have you in our show. Like, at first, when I came across your work, after I heard your TED talk, which was like at another level, very different, very inspiring. The way you shared your journey, it was like at another level. The journey of being titled as the Madman of India. It's an absolute honor, sir, to have you today.
Thank you, Nupur. Thank you, Nupur. And it is so amazing, and I'm so grateful to you that you chose to see me. And it is so endearing to know about youth working for the nation in a way in which nobody else is working on. So I'm very delighted to be in conversation with you.
Thank you so much, sir. So when I was reading about you, your work, your experiences, your entire journey, that made me question a lot of aspects, like the way we look at our lives. Now, I want to start this conversation and let's hear from you, like about your transformational journey from being as a kid, which was again an unusual one for you to sort of move towards making the decision of being a social reformer, starting with this amazing ventures and finally earning the title of the madman. I can understand this question is a lot longer, but we can go like phase by phase.
Well, the question is fine enough. It depends upon me if I make the answer lucid enough for everyone to understand. Uh, what you are asking right now is the transition, and it's an amazing thing to know, Nupur. Thank you for asking this question. Why? Because most of the people, whenever they meet a person, whenever they meet their accomplishments, their contributions, their name, their status, they are actually meeting that accomplishment, status, contribution, award, title. Okay, but it's rare that they meet the person behind it.
True.
And it's very easy to actually look at a person and that then either get inspired by them or either get jealous with them, if they are this, they are that. But it's very difficult to understand why they became that, right?
Yeah.
And this why is very important. And I often ask people that I would not ask you who you are. I would always ask you why you are, why they are being whatever they are being, why they are pursuing whatever they are pursuing. And this why is actually what struck me. So I was born as a dyslexic and a synesthetic. So you know about dyslexia. Uh, it is a learning disability, as people say. And Tare Zameen Par is a movie that
Is one of
was
this.
made upon the same concept. Now,
Yeah.
synesthesia is a condition in which we get five senses, mixed up together. So it's like the white wall behind you, the white background. You can see it. People can see it. But for us, when we are looking at the color white, we are also listening to it. We are also smelling it. We are also tasting it. We are also listening to it and feeling it from far. And this particular condition makes us multifaceted but overworked, because our brain has to work five times more. So that made me always very different from the crowd, and I was very much a part of and a victim of abuse, uh, physical and mental, in school. So, but when I felt myself as a victim, I was, acting like a victim. Like a victim. How do victims act? They act like in self pity. They act in, smallness. Feeling small and feeling dejected and feeling rejected. And I was fulfilling all the things of that religion of being a victim. But then understand, I slowly understood that this victimization is not uh, done by the people upon me. It was something that I allowed uh, into myself. So only I was responsible for the victimization I was going through. And as soon as I, rejected, becoming a victim, I started on a different life path. I, at the age of 12, I lost my father, and post that, I went into a severe depression and tried to commit suicide. And when I was about to take the pills, my mother's sleeping pills, I understood that my mind is asking me to die, but my heart is beating, my lungs are breathing. I'm feeling hungry. My stomach is hungry, and uh, each and every organ of my body is working for many future moments to come. So I asked if these organs know that I have to live for many future moments, why is my mind asking me to die? And there I understood the concept of madness. That is the limitless hope that is inside our cells, our bodies, our atoms, our molecules. And since then I have become the madman. And earlier I let life affect me. From then on, I started affecting life back.
Okay.
I am not a slave to my situations. I am not a slave to my situations. Situations and circumstances have come in my life just like it has come into any other person's life. But what helps me become, different and probably better in handling them is the attitude that I have kept towards them. Because I have stopped being a victim. I have stopped being a devourer, and I have started becoming a I've become a creator, right? It's like not started becoming a creator. It's like I've become a creator. So who is a creator and a devourer? I'll just go through that concept once. That people in this world are two kinds: the creators and the devourers. Now, the devourers are people who keep consuming. So they get born, and then they consume the love of their parents. Then they consume food to grow. Then they consume toys, then they consume, fancy educational tools, pencils, then they consume video games, then they consume relationships, girlfriend, boyfriends, then they consume the ego of being in a great college, then they consume the ego of being in a great job, then they consume the money that they earn, and then they
It
consume the
goes on
benefits,
and
the
on.
limitless benefits. Yes. So this consumption goes on and on and on. And what are they giving back? Probably nothing. Probably maximum they are giving back something which is for another person to consume. A creator is someone who does not believe in consuming. A creator is someone who does not see in the situation ki what he or she is getting out of that situation. A creator is a person who simply wants to just create something new for that situation or circumstance or scenario, and that helps that person uh, always burning to create solutions. And that's how I decided, that if I am a creator, okay, I have to create solutions. And Nupur, the best thing that happened to me, it's a part of your question also, that why the transition happened. you know Very early in life, I started blaming myself for whatever wrong was happening in the world.
Okay.
For example, right now we are sitting in August 2021. Now there are many problems happening around the world. Right now, the Afghanistan, the Taliban thing is happening.
Yes.
There are many civil wars going on. There is poverty everywhere. There is malnutrition. There are violation of human rights. There are so many things happening.
True.
What if I tell you that, you and me are responsible for this? You may ask why. I have not caused this problem. I have not caused this thing to happen. But actually, I can, prove to you that we are responsible. I am 34 years old. You may be 20, 21, 25. Now, all these years of our life, you know, we chose to, study in a good school, study in college, and then make money for ourselves, and then have a good life, and then have a smartphone through which I'm talking right now to you. Now, all these resources that I have, consumed, okay, all this time I have also turned a blind eye towards everything that was going on wrong with this guy, isn't it?
True. Absolutely.
Mm.
I also have heard you saying in one of the podcasts, one of your instances, like where you mentioned your experience with a professor of some college who sort of demeaned you
Hmm.
and restricted you when you were trying to enter the college event. However, you were invited to
Hmm.
the same college a couple of years back. Like hearing
Right,
that,
right, right.
yeah,
Um,
that may be a part
so,
of yeah, sort of.
hmm.
If you could
So I'll
explain
just
it,
come to that.
yeah.
Sure. So I'll just come to that. So in this thing, I blamed myself for whatever was going wrong with the world, and thus I started becoming a solution to every social problem I got before myself. And since then, I've been doing that. So right now, what I do is I simply see a social evil, I go there and create solutions for that. And that is my life. And I still think that despite of all the work that I could do, that all the service that I could do, I still haven't done even 0.0001% of what I should have been, doing and what I should have done. So that is my attitude, and probably that is how my everyday transition also works. Now, when it comes to this particular incidents that you were telling me, so this happened in the best MBA institute in India. It is in Ahmedabad. I will not name it. So it happened there. So I was always very enamored with intelligent people. Since I was not technically intelligent, huh? People have their own definitions of intelligence. Someone is from the, the IITs and the IIMs and the ISBs and MITs and Harvards and Oxfords. Only then they are of a certain level. Now I could not see the numbers. Okay, I could not crack any exams. To give myself the opportunity to go into such colleges and study. but I always admired, anyone who is there is very intelligent. So I went into this college to give my exam, uh, CAT exam, and I happened to get my center in the college itself. So I
Okay.
went there and I finished the exam in half an hour because I did not know maths at all. So I completed English and went out. So I went there in the college campus. I was touching the walls as if these walls are touched by intelligent people, and it is so amazing to be in that, breathe the same air with them and be in the same scenario with them. So yeah, I would like, if people are talking and I would go and stand there like, and they would ask, "Kya hua?" Like, "Kuch nahi." So like that, So it was a very uplifting experience for me to be in that presence, because I knew that I could never be part of such an institution. So Mr. Prasoon Joshi was speaking there, as a guest speaker. So there was a banner, and I went inside. I tried to go inside the hall. The guard stopped me. So he said, "You cannot go inside." I said, I'll just stand at the back and then listen." I started, having an argument with him. Suddenly, a person comes. He's in, his gray suit, and he looked like a professor. And he comes and asks the guard, "What is the problem?" He tells him he's forcefully coming inside. So the professor asks me, "Are you from the college?" So I said, "No, sir. I'm here to give my exam." So he says, "Gentlemen, remember one thing in life." Now, this was a moment like, Lord Krishna talking to Arjun, in Gita. And I was like, "Oh, wow, the professor of such a college is talking to me." And he says that, "Remember one thing in life, gentlemen." Yes, sir. कहते हैं, "Gentlemen, only the cream gets to be in the milk. So find your standards and get out."
Oh.
I was shattered at many levels. Yes, probably he said the truth. I am not part of the cream. I am not neither the milk nor the cream. Nothing. I'm not nothing. And it's wise that I go from here. It was after 4 years that I did my MBA from another college, and then joined in a government bank, and then left it, and then started my journey into rehabilitating and saving tribes that are going into any kind of extremist activities in the central parts of India. I was only 22 when I started it. I got kidnapped when I was 22. I came out of it. I was featured in Forbes magazine's Changemakers list at the age of 24. I was one of the youngest people to be featured there. Now,
Could
when
you
I got
tell us about
featured,
how the kidnapping thing happened? Like, if you could tell
so
us.
it was. I'll just finish the story and then probably
Sure,
I'll go
sure.
to that.
Works.
So once I was into Forbes, I got a call from the same college, and they said, "Sir, we are doing a leadership series, and you are such a great inspiration for the youth. Why don't you come down to our college and then probably inspire us with your words?" I said, "Okay, fine." I went there. I spoke for 2 days, and then amazing. The director was not there. After 2 days, on the third day, the director came, and the director was the same person who had spoken to me those amazing words 4 years back. And he went on the stage and said, "He's such a great inspiration, and you all should take inspiration from him. And he's so young, and he's younger than most of you also, and this and that." And he said, "Because of such people, India is made into a great nation, and this and that." So after the thing, we were in the high tea, and then he said that, "Sir, you are a great inspiration. I wish I could have met you earlier." So I told him, "Sir, we have met earlier." So he said, "When? If I had met you, I have a great memory. I would not have forgotten." So I told him when he met me, and when I told him what he had said, his face was like, totally dried up. And then I told him, "Sir, never tell anything, that it cannot become something. You know, the day it becomes something, it may, surpass anything that you could have ever imagined." So, and they were offering me, to do a PhD from the institute and this and that. I told him, "Sir, earlier I was running after false notions of intelligence. I also wanted to be, I was a wannabe, Yeah, I also wanted to be, identified with them, to show my intelligence, to show my worth, to show my talent, to work for the nation and humanity. But now I would not fall into the trap. So I would not do a PhD. One day there will be PhDs done on me. And Nupur, by the age of
Wow,
28, there were 5 PhDs that were done on my life. Till now, the count is around 14.
that's
So,
amazing.
um,
I felt like those
so
words
that was the
made
thing.
a huge impact in the difference, like in your life, which created. Like if someone demeans something, like in a way to
Uh,
somebody else.
well, again, very important point here. Most of the people, this is a very amazing question and a notion from you, Nupur. Uh, Nupur, the world this is a world of reactions there. Okay,
True.
this is a world of reactions. If you see any person, do not even take you and me. You take a third person, any person in your life. That person, suppose the person's name is Jackson. Now Jackson is not Jackson as a person, Jackson as a consciousness. The person Jackson is a sum total of the reactions that he has done in his life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even if you take you and me also, I have not become the reaction part. I have gone through that. So you take anyone in your life, I'm sure that you are also not the one who reacts. So most of the people in this world are actually the sum total of the reactions. How? That, when they were like 12, 13 years old, someone told them that you know you cannot do engineering. Okay. Now he would say, sure, I would not do engineering. Okay, let me study for IIT JEE. Now that
The
person,
proving
slogged
concept.
for, yes. So they slog for around 5, 6 years. They become engineers, and after spending 10, 20 years of their lives becoming an engineer, they understand and they realize that they always wanted to become a cricketer or a painter or anything else or a doctor.
True.
Okay. And when they prove these people, they come back to them. See, I did this. And that person probably does not even react. Okay, fine, very good. You know, so it is baseless to actually react to things. I never, ever regarded that particular incident as a, prime motive of my thing. That is the least important thing in my life. Least important. Because if I say that the teacher there was not even, worth enough being a teacher. He was just a, tape recorder who learned some concepts and became whatever he was. And he was the director of that institute. And I'm saying this on live, whatever, this video. A person, a teacher who can give wisdom and love and hope to the students is the only one who can become a teacher, is a true teacher. Otherwise, everyone else is a businessman. They are only transacting. So that person was also not a teacher. Why would I take his name? Go, thing also. So that's what I tell also, people. Don't react to things. Proactive.
Yeah.
If you want to do anything, do not make that reason so menial. Someone said to me or someone, complained about it or jeered about it or made a fun of it. I'm a fat person. I'm 110 kgs. I'm 6 feet. I have something called gynecomastia. That is called male breasts. Okay. Now, in a society where Tiger Shroff and Hrithik Roshan and all these six pack abs is considered to be masculinity, I was born with this condition. Okay. Now, in a boys' school, it is a huge taboo to have this body. I was physically abused for that. You get milk in this, you are turning into a girl, this, that. So for 1 year, I started walking, in a slouched manner so that, no one can see my body. And I really hated my body for this, I'm fat and I'm this, and and turning into a girl, though I'm a boy and, everything else. But then one fine day I understood, Nupur, that this is my life and this is my body. Okay. If I do not love it, if I do not love myself, nobody else would. So I accepted my body and became confident. But the wonder and the amazement of the thing was shown to me after 10 years of this instance in school. When I was 24, I used to go to orphanages to help them out with things. And I was staying in one of the orphanages when I was given a baby girl who was thrown into the garbage. She was around 5, 6 days old. When she came into my arms, she started patting on my chest. She wanted milk. So I asked the caretaker, if you can give her the bottled milk. So she said that she's not taking bottled milk. I told her, she wants human touch. So can't you, feed her and then probably put the bottle in? So she said, she's not my daughter. Why would I do that? I was melted and dejected, but also I felt very positive because I thought, the God has this nature, this universe has gifted me with a wonderful body. I'm a man with the most precious organ of a woman also. So I removed my t-shirt and I put her onto my own chest. Now, when she was suckling, now that moment was very different for me. I am a man completely masculine with all the masculine qualities and hormones, but I still had the honor of becoming a mother. Now, if anyone would say that this thing is a curse, I don't know what a blessing is then. So this is a blessing. Now, if I kept reacting to it all my life, I would have been a, unconfident and very meek and, person who hates himself. I love my body and I love my chest. It has given warmth to people, beyond measure. And I really respect the way my body has become and has been. So this thing is Nupur, I do not believe, beta, in being a reaction. I always believe in being a pro action, and that is what I tell also.
Also, so like connecting this question to something like the herd mentality, as you mentioned, we sort of react to a perspective where we see people, whatever people are doing, we should do that, or whatever people say, we should change our mindset. Now, youngsters living in this current generation, we are sort of into the herd mindset of what others are doing. Can we try it out? If we are taking a risky path, is it a good path for us to take it or not? So what do you have to say about this herd mentality that is sort of existing now in our country?
No, but the problem here is that everyone is running from themselves. Okay. They always think that they are not enough. And because of that, they think that they have to abide with and stand by, a group of people, a group of mindsets to define their own existence. Try to understand this. Yeah. To define their own existence, they have to abide by a group mentality. Okay. For example, have you seen that people going into the youth today going into taking marijuana and drugs in the name of Lord Shiva?
Yeah.
Okay. Now this has been a pattern. Okay. Why Lord Shiva is used for marijuana? Why is he not used to become the epitome of masculinity and being the best man? A person who did penance for his own wife, a person who was in the worship of his own wife, the person who created a havoc when her wife died. Why can't these qualities be learned from him? Why is he only a part of a drug usage scenario? Because the pattern is that this thing was started by the hippie culture in US, okay, especially by Bob Marley, where he connected Lord Shiva with marijuana and other drugs. And then he also sang Om Namah Shivaya, this, that. Now, the youth, now they think that if they do this, they would be like cool, like they have the bohemian vibe, right? And they would be cool, and it would be like uh, uh, super awesome to think about it and to know people. They would grow their hair and for no reason at all, to become more cooler, so that people take them seriously. But actually, when you speak to them, they have no substance. Why? Because they have not worked on the substance. Now, people may say that I am very judgmental in a way. People have the right to be the they want. I completely agree. They have the right to be whatever they want. But in a scenario, in a world where more than half the population is fighting a crucial, uh, you know, challenge in their lives, most of the people are going through a mental upheaval. You know this, be it the lower
Absolutely.
classes or the middle classes or the higher classes.
Everyone.
Most of the youth, in most of the countries, they are going into a mental health challenge along with a physical challenge. Children not getting food, people not getting their basic rights. In such a world, for defining your own existence, you have to resort to these things. So this herd mentality, Nupur, is actually a defense mechanism,
Okay.
because they have a fear of rejection.
Yeah.
People have a fear of rejection. Okay? If in case I do not do this, people will reject me. And if they reject me, I don't have my own identity. Suppose right now I'm alone. I work alone, Nupur, but I'm very happy working alone. Okay. Why? Because I have my own identity. I'm very, very happy with it. I don't require anyone to define it to me. I love people. They also love me. Their love is required, but it is not necessary, because I do not have fear of rejection. Most of the people fall into this trap of rejection, that they think that if in case they do not do such and such thing, they would be rejected from the whole crowd. And that is why this herd mentality has infected generations. And it takes almost whole life to understand that whatever I did here was totally worthless. And in the fag end of their life, when they are actually dying or probably having a cathartic moment, they come out with this fact that just because of this herd mentality and this, following what others are doing, I ruined my life. I never pursued my dreams. I never pursued my purpose, or I never pursued my vision. So that is the thing. And to come out of it, one has to believe in their uniqueness. Nupur.
Absolutely.
We are not production line products that are coming onto the production line and being packaged. In fact, actually that is happening. In education also, there is no creativity, innovation. There is simply ye padho, jao kaam karo. That thing
The
is happening.
same set of framework which is existing. Yeah.
Same set of framework, same set of mentality. Be
Yeah.
it man, be it woman, be it boys, be it girls, everyone has the same set. So we must understand that we all are unique individuals, very, very, very unique. And we all have different gene structures. If we have different gene structures, how can our life be the same? So we must understand that and we must respect that. And that is the only thing that we should keep at a pedestal, and not a false, status symbol that the world has created. Probably that is what I would say.
That was insightful. So like looking at your career path, like you have been working on the
Mm,
various social causes and not just one, like be it women's
mm,
safety, mental health, working with the artists, innovation for the social victims, and many more, like which is
mm,
immensely inspiring. Again, looking at your career path where you started, like it's totally sort of shift from being a science student and management background, and now in the social
mm,
innovation, like the entrepreneurship sector. Like, could you tell us
mm,
how the each phase of your life like added up to the next choice that you made, and what were the major learnings
mm.
and the failures during this journey that might help us as youngsters in that context, if you could share, to learn from all those things?
Mm, well, two things. The first thing is that no amount of knowledge is enough. And the second thing is that any knowledge learned will never go to waste. It will always help you. So whatever you're learning, first of all, keep learning, because there's no end to it. And second thing is that whatever you learn, it will come back to you in ways that you can, more ways than you can imagine even. When you say that the failures that can teach, first of all, in my life, Nupur, I do not consider there is anything called as failures. There is nothing. There is no
Always
failure.
learn.
Everything is according to there is everything is according to how it is meant to be. You may give it a spiritualistic flavor. You may give it a, Maslow, or what Murphy's law flavor, philosophical flavor, ki whatever has to happen will happen,
And will happen.
right? But I believe that everything is a part of the story, and everything is actually writing your future every day. So even if something happens which is not according to my ideal well-being in a particular moment, now this is called failure.
Okay.
Ideal well-being,
That's a
anything not
different
according
perspective.
to your ideal well-being,
Yeah.
anything not according to your ideal well-being in a particular situation is called failure. Now, if anything not according to the ideal well-being of my particular situation, I simply think and know that this has to connect somewhere in the future. I don't know, it may be happening next day, it may be happening after 10 years, I do not know. But I never, ever consider anything failure. Anything. Uh, anything. Everything is actually
A learning
a sign.
experience. Yeah.
Not even a learning experience. It is actually a situation. It is actually a milestone. It is
Okay.
writing your future. It is writing your future. Even my, the greatest losses of my life. I lost my father at a very young age. I lost my sanity, many times. And everything, was a milestone in making the future happen. We may say, ki if those losses were not there, I would not have become what I am right now. And if I had not become right now what I am right now, I could not have served so many people. I never say help them, because when I serve them, it is them who are letting me help them or serve them,
Oh.
right? So
I
it is
definitely
not never
got a sort
helping.
of different perspective of the way give the perspective of the failure thing. So it was enriching, I would say.
So that is the thing.
Yeah.
Anything that you do, success and failure, they are always on the same mindset. In
Yes.
Gita, Lord Krishna says that in happiness and sorrow, you have to be the same mental status. You do not have to become happy or sad. You just have to be, and it is a very important lesson to
True.
understand. So
So
that is the thing. And when you say about my different backgrounds, that I
yeah.
went from science to management and now social work, actually there is a lot of connection in everything. You know, um, okay. So facultative mutualism is a scientific concept in which two organisms meet. Okay. So one organism's weakness is another organism's strength, and
Okay.
this organism's weakness is this organism's strength. Jैसे there is a hermit crab. It has very good legs, but it does not have a strong shell. So big animals come and eat it up.
Yeah.
There is this another guy called sea cucumber. Now it has very good tentacles. Okay, it eats food, but it cannot walk around to grow to catch food. So whatever food comes to it, it only catches that, but it has very good poisonous tentacles.
Okay.
So the problem with sea cucumber is that it cannot travel. The problem with hermit crab is that it is weak, but it can travel. So what sea cucumber does is it comes and sits on hermit crab. Now hermit crab goes around, taking the sea cucumber. Sea cucumber is having all the food, and hermit crab is safe from all the animals to, it is not getting eaten up. Now this is called joint ventures in business. Hero and Honda. Hero
Right.
cycles was great in distribution. Okay, it had lovely distribution of cycles, but it did not have technology. Honda had all the technology, but it did not have the distribution in
The
India. So
distribution.
Hero and Honda came together and built Hero Honda. And the same way, direct pollination. When pollination happens, okay. The same way, marketing also happens. What is pollination? Pollination is you go somewhere, you pick up the pollen, and you grow somewhere else, and then you build the seed there, right? That is what marketing is. That you go there, you learn a concept, and then probably spread among the people, and then you probably grow seeds so that they become more and more and more and more and more. So every science, every management, everything in this world is connected. And I believe in the connection of all these knowledges also. my workshops that I take with students across schools, colleges, and corporate, I mix all these knowledges together, and because I love interconnecting, so I do that. So I think whatever I learned in all my degrees and my education has helped me actually become a more holistic person, becoming more practical and also more foolproof solutions to provide more foolproof solutions to social problems.
Maybe
So I
different
think that has helped
perspectives
me.
of looking at things
Yeah,
through. Yeah.
yeah. So that was there.
So also, like you mentioned in the while speaking in the beginning, you worked with a lot of local artists, kids, and various other organizations in the social spectrum area. I want to know, like, can you share one memorable and one horrifying experience that you might have encountered during a path? Like, just before starting this podcast, you mentioned something that was sort of horrifying for me to hear that. But if you could also like mention some other instances that you have faced, which was sort of horrifying and as well as memorable at the same time.
Oh, well, every moment is horrific and every moment is memorable. It only depends upon what is, making me jittery about it. For some persons, for some people, this particular interview, having to face a person, having to speak in the public itself is horrifying, right? For someone, who is fighting the enemy on the border, even an army of 1,000 before him, it is not horrifying. So it is again a matter of perspective. So um, with me, things have not been horrific when I say. Uh, I may say that they have been life threatening, but life threatening things are not horrific to me. They are adventurous to me because
That's true.
the biggest truth that I learned from uh, my life early on was that we all are very temporary and very fragile. We human beings, and we can go any moment. We can die any moment. Even it took only a second or a minute for my father to leave this earth, and that fragility is always with us. That fragility is very 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 permanent. So when everything is so fragile, what am I afraid about? Why should I be afraid about it? I should be happy for whatever safe and amazing moment that I'm getting right now. So horrific, there is nothing. But then yes, I got abducted thrice, and my last abduction was in Chhattisgarh, and I was there for 45 days into torture with them, and that was very life threatening. And but I could come out. After that, there have been many instances where I worked with people who are going into extremism big time. And the first time, whenever I go to them and whenever the first interaction is happening, they are violent, and it is very very difficult to uh, show them and make them believe that I am there for their own benefit and for their health. And so those are times where life threatening situations are there, but they are almost every day, every day. So I've stopped counting, but I think such instances give you a perspective to life which is not possible in a protected environment of an education and a corporate job.
Wow.
So I think had I been in a very well settled sophisticated job or a thing, I could not have learned this. And probably that is why I'm the only one doing this easily. I don't know.
Definitely so, because it's all about your madness that you mentioned. The name, the title, The Madman is totally worth it for you, because the instances that you mentioned, it was horrifying for me to even think of it. But if- just because you told it's adventurous for you, like I totally can get it. This is because of your madness, and that's the reason you have been titled as the Madman of India.
And moreover, Nupur, whenever I meet a person who is inflicting any kind of pain to me, I always think from a doctor's perspective. When a patient comes to doctor, okay, who either of the two is agitated? Of course, the patient, because that patient is in pain. Okay,
True.
that patient is yelling. He may be abusing the doctor. He may be saying things to the doctor. But if the doctor starts reacting to it, you shouted at me. I will cut your jugular nerve. I will squeeze your heart and make you dead this moment. If the doctor starts saying that, will he be or will she be able to help them? No. So whenever there is an agitation in a situation of two people, it is the person who is agitated who is having a disease.
Yeah.
And if you are the right person with the right intention there, your duty is only to heal it. And if you can heal it, then heal it. Otherwise, go. Right. And
Like,
and these days, when you go to any political outfit, there is this black flags outfit in a major university of the capital of India, the three-lettered university. That motley crew of fools, they are such foolish people that once I went to a function which was organized by them. When I was on the mic, I simply asked one question: that how many students have actually passed from this university from whatever 70, 80 years it has been in existence? The answer was thousands and lakhs of students. Okay, with the same mindset. Okay, with the same black agenda, with the same mindset. I told them, if you really think so much about the community and the nation, you people came from the farthest most villages and cities. You are the one of the best minds of the country. That's why you came to this university. Had you guys had even 1 inch, 1 ounce of intention to do good, you would have gone back to your villages and cities and made them prosper. You had the brain to do that. You could have transformed education. You could have transformed social ventures. You could have transformed livelihood. You could have transformed lives every moment, but you chose to sway those flags and simply abuse the country. And I hate this word activist. I simply hate, because I simply say that if someone has to do anything, they have to become an actionist, not an activist. People do not need activists. Nopal, when I was working in those areas, I always say that, if there is a one hungry person, there would be 10 political leaders, standing around him, blaming each other that he's hungry because of you, he's hungry because of you, he's angry because of you. So what I simply did was I went inside and just satiated the hunger and then told him how to grow his own food, so that all the leaders were vanished. So this is the thing, I believe, people have to understand this fact, that simply becoming couch revolutionaries on Facebook and then ranting about the government and the system, they're not doing any good. They're not doing any good. If they are equipped with education and the power to think, they should take action.
I mean,
That
we
is
are
it.
almost like at the end of this empowering conversation with you, sir. But I would say, like, through this conversation, I got a lot of perspectives, not in terms of to look at life, but the instances that you mentioned gave me a lot of different perspectives to look into things. So, I mean, it was great to have a conversation. Uh, like, before
Thank you.
ending, I would like to ask you, like, any last insights that you would like to share to the youth watching this, and maybe to your younger self, like being the madman of India. So, if you could share in that perspective.
Younger self, I would say, you should exercise more and then probably become more fit, because I'm getting all kinds of health problems these days, because I really do not care about my health. So I think I should, tell myself, you should take care of your health more. That's on a lighter note, but yes, when I say to the youth, the final message is that we 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 all are broken beings. You know, we are, you know, laden with dreams, shattered by experiences, you know, toiling away into the unknown. But also understand that we are healing beings too. We are healing beings. You know, we break and heal. We heal our wounds. We fight through pain, and then we evolve. And this ability to break, heal, and evolve is the only perfection, nothing else. And this particular thing is very close to my heart, because you know, Nupur, in our lives we are always looking at other people, other lives. You know, I would want to become like him, like her. I would do just the thing my parents did, or my family did, or my idol did, but they fail to see their own you know, ability. And that is the only perfection that we should strive for. So I would tell, you know, everyone to first of all love yourself, and not love yourself in the ego of loving yourself. You know, ek hota hai ki, you know, ki people say ki, yeah, I love myself, my life, my rules. No, not that. That's not my life, my rules. No,
Just
loving
accept
yourself is
who you are.
standing by your thing,
True.
giving yourself the priority when you want to learn, giving yourself the priority when you have to serve.
Yeah.
So when that acceptance happen, I think many problems in this world would go. And I would again urge people to not react to things, but proact to things. So do not make a world of reactions. Do not react to things, proact to them by thinking logically and thinking from your heart. And again, do not become a devourer, become a creator. Always think that what you can actually create in a situation to make it better, rather than thinking that who should have done better to make the situation in a more favorable manner to yourself. So I think these would be a few things from the talk itself that I would want to share and probably wish.
Thank you so much, sir, like for sharing your wonderful story and lot of inspirational things that you mentioned. Like it was an absolute honor to have you.
Thank you, Nupur. Likewise, and I hope the long conversation does not turn boring. And
Absolutely not.
and anyone who wants to join my movement may contact me on Instagram, Facebook, and anywhere. You know, just type my name, Swapnil Tiwari, Madman, on Google, and you'll get my contact. And I would always be there to spread any light in any darkness that they are going through. So
Thank you, sir.
thank you, Nipur. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you everyone for tuning in till the end. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more such inspiring stories and learnings. Stay safe and stay curious. Thank you.